What's up? Welcome to our studio. This is where we write and jam it out before we go on tour. This is my guitar vault. We put all our guitars. This is my newest one. It's an Explorer Dean guitar. It's custom made. I actually went to the headquarters in down in Florida, Dean, and I picked out the wood myself and made the neck to my specs. Made it feel killer, and actually used this on the cover songs we did on the bonus DVD, which you're watching right now. Animal Magnetism, Tuned Down to B, Power Slave, and Dragon Attack. This guitar sounded amazing. I'm going to definitely use this on the next record, and on the new Dragon Lord. I'm using this. This is one of my signatures guitars right here. This is called the Old Skull. It's got our Old Skull, so I call it the Old Skull. And this one, I used this on the last record, Dark Roots of Earth.
Let me get that heads.
And it's got the metal headstock right there. Dean's my main guitar, but every guitarist has got to have a Les Paul. And this one's special to me. I don't play this on stage. I just use this for some leads and stuff and recording. This is a Marc Bolan. I think it's number 35 out of 200. And what it is, it's got the custom neck on a standard body. And this puppy just sounds killer. It's got the old PAF pickups. It's got that nice kind of like rock and roll over Kiss Ace Frehley lead tone. Oh man, it's sick. Another one in my collection here I just bought is a 1965 Holiday Bobcat. And this is, I think Sears made this guitar, but these pickups are just ruling. I don't know how they're wound, and it's got the floating bridge made out of rosewood. I use it on the clean tone on Cold Embrace on the new record. So this guitar's killer. It's got a really nice sound to it. It's pretty killer. And then this is my rig. I use EVH amps, cab, 30 watt. It's got birch plywood. Not plywood, but birch ply, and it's got the 30 watt speakers. My tech, well, he's a lot of people's techs, but my buddy Anders Aho, he made this for me. And instead of getting like, fancy smancy rack units, I just use stomp pedals. It's the best way to go. This is the best delay ever. It's made by TC Electronics. It's the Nova delay, and I don't know what this thing does. I think it makes my leads louder. This is the EVH flanger, the best one. This one rules. It's a Zakk Wylde chorus. It's awesome. And this is the best wah ever. This is, you can put different wahs all over the stage, but this has got the real low sweeps, the real, and then you can put like 6 wahs out on stage everywhere, but I only use one because Chuck always steps on and messes with me. But yeah, and then the EVH Mark III amp. I use these on the last 2 records. I haven't switched these amps rule. This one combines, it's got the dents and the saturation of the Bookie, but it's got the mid-range and the sparkle of a Marshall. So I think Eddie kind of went for that. This is like the first Van Halen guitar tone to me. The harmonics on this amp is just amazing. It's just really, when you mute the strings and chun, it's just, a lot of it's in your right hand, but and then I got the killer drawer right here to put my stash. Put my guns and my hand grenades and stuff.
Hey, what's going on? This is Alex, and I'm in the rehearsal studio. Things are a little bit in disarray right now because we're getting packed up and ready to leave for Chile, where we're playing a festival this weekend. But I thought I would show you some of my gear, and what I have here is my current favorite guitar. This is a signature model, Heritage, and Heritage is a small factory in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and it's where the original Gibson guitars used to be built. A lot of the machinery is the same, and a lot of the builders are the same as from the Gibson days from the 60s and 70s. And you may notice a similarity between a Les Paul. So it's a little bit like having a signature Les Paul, but from the original factory. And I have some specs. These are Seymour Duncan pickups, 59 and JB, a Tone Pros bridge, which gives extra sustain. It weighs a lot. If you don't like heavy guitars, this is not the guitar for you. But I've noticed that heavy guitars really cut through, and when you play loud, heavy music, you need as much power as you can get. The frets are 6100s. I play very thick strings. In my other life, I play jazz guitar, so I'm used to size 12 or even size 13 for guitar strings. And these are 12s. And the guitar is just great. I mean, it's very trustworthy. They're hard to find. Like I said, Heritage is this small boutique company, but they're worth it. It's like finding a great vintage guitar. It's a guitar you'll always want to hang on to. So here it is, my Heritage Alex Skolnick signature model. As I mentioned, things are a little bit in disarray right now, but this is a basic rig for rehearsing and for doing one-off dates, and it consists of a tuner, a distortion pedal, a pitch pedal, which in this case is an MXR Phase 90, and a delay pedal, which is the Boss Giga Delay. Let me talk about the distortion pedal. This is made by Jam Pedals, which is a company in Greece that I recently got connected with. And they actually call this the Tube Dreamer. So the Tube Dreamer is based on this pedal, the Tube Screamer. The Tube Screamer is something I've used since I first started playing live in the old days. It's the one piece of gear that's always been with me. And I used it for a lot of the recording of this album, but midway through I got connected with Jam, and they hooked me up with this thing. So it's really like having this, but with twice as many options. And it's sort of a very modern take on a pedal that's been around since the 80s. I actually have a signature amp that is being built right now by Buddha, and it is not ready yet. It's going to be ready very soon. In fact, I just tried the prototype at the Music Mesa in Germany, and it's awesome. So I wish I had that amp to show you. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you the amp that I've used for the last few years. This is the Marshall Mode 4, and it's a very interesting amp because they don't make them anymore, and they didn't last in the marketplace for very long. It's more of a solid state amp than a tube amp. It does have preamp tubes, but the most of the power comes from a solid state source. And that's a little bit of taboo in the amp world. People are very tied to the idea of tubes. But I think this amp sounds great, and I've been able to do a lot of performances where it's generally agreed upon that it sounds good. So I've been using it for a long time, but I think as soon as my new Buddha is done, it's going to take everything I like about this amp, but also just have some custom specifications, and we're working on some surprises, and it's actually going to have the capability of solid state sound and tubes. So it's going to be like the best of both worlds. But in the meantime, this is what I'm using for the moment, and this is what's going to go on tour with me, the Marshall Mode.